lot of these lists, like this Business Journal list has Hartford ranked 8th. We saw in the Stanley Cup Finals, Hartford ranked 4th in the TV market. I mean, they also, the Sports Business Journal had a ranking a couple weeks ago that had the top 200 minor league cities. Out of 200, Hartford finished like 45th. Now that they finished 45th, which sounds kind of low for them, but that's because they do it by attendance. So we've got this 15,000 seat arena. We're only selling 6,000 seats. But I mean, Hartford keeps popping up at the front of these lists. I mean, so
and their name is constantly on the radar.
Right.
And that's the most important thing.
And we also have Quebec ranked 31st, Kansas City 57th. Both teams that really they wanted to, and they're at the bottom of the list. So you know, how is that looking?
Interesting enough, it was kind of surprising that Quebec markets on this Business Journal list for income all came up either borderline or insufficient, and that means Quebec. That means Hamilton.
And they were pushing Hamilton huge,
right?
With specifically to relocate,
right?
And now you look at them, they're ranked 33rd.
Yep.
I thought for the Atlanta franchise, I thought Hamilton was the one to get it,
right? Right.
Not Winnipeg. Winnipeg, I mean, don't get me wrong, they have a beautiful new arena, but again, it's only 15,000 seats.
Right.
The NHL is obviously realizing that they need smaller arenas to fill it every night versus 25,000 seat arenas they're not going to fill any all the time.
It's all about what you see, because if you're watching on TV, wow, that place is packed, that must be awesome, but there's only 15,000 seats.
Right.
So it's going to be a sellout, just like Fenway. They're not going to add any other seats. They're not going to make it bigger because they've,
631 consecutive sellouts.
Exactly, because they've kept it that size.
Right.
Now, if
And
you make a
people
big one,
keep on biting.
Exactly.
They're biting, they want to be there.
Sure.
Exactly. And if you can do that in Hartford, because Hartford, it's like Dennis was saying, it's not just a parking lot. It's there. You can go and you can go to the restaurant before, then or after even, and go in there and watch the game. But don't just go for the game.
And there's a plan on the table that incorporates a sports bar. Within the Civic Center as part of this renovation. So they're trying to get people to really bite for the big NHL club, and that's part of the whole.
What other team and what other cities are also going for a team, or the NHL is looking at them to give them a team as well?
Hamilton has something in common with Hartford in that they're sandwiched between two large markets.
Both have H's.
We've got the Rangers and the Bruins, and then Hamilton's looking at Buffalo and Toronto. So they're in between those two markets. Winnipeg had Daddy Warbucks. Hamilton doesn't.
Yep.
Hartford is. We're still trying to find that guy. Maybe Howard can get a partner or business buddy.
Yeah. Well, just because Howard has that plan, he doesn't have an owner yet. He doesn't have a person in charge. He can talk all he wants, get everyone going, renovate it.
And
if no one's there, they're not going to come.
And he can be the minority owner.
Yeah.
You need that big.
But you need that
the big one.
person.
And that's what David was talking about from the mayor's office. That Mr. Bettman was saying, well, how about this guy over here? He's had an NHL club before.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. And that's where, because of Mr. Baldwin's relationship with the NHL, he knows what he needs to go out and do.
Right.
And that's all about the attendance.
Sure.
Talking about attendance-wise, we have the stats from the last Hartford Whalers game, and they had 13,680 at their last game. They averaged around like 11,000 maybe a game, maybe even 10s. The Connecticut Whale now averages about 6,000.
Right.
So how does that look in wise? Gone up from 1,200 at Wolfpack games. Is it a good sign? Is it saying that we have that market that we can sustain attendance-wise? Because I think they said they need at least 13,000 a game with a NHL team to be sustainable in a city or in a state.
Right. There's it's a lot of good things. It's like I said, it's not. It would be nice if we were getting 10, 11,000 every night at this arena, but we're not. We were, the Connecticut Hartford was getting probably around 4,000, I think, average before the rebrand. So I keep beating this drum that it's progress. I mean, they're moving the attendance up. When the attendance starts to fall, then we can all panic. Right. But is it slow and steady? Is it molasses in January? Yeah, it is right now. It's moving though. It's moving forward, and that's what.
And even when they rebranded, they got 13,000 their first game.
Yeah.
For Connecticut Whale.
Yeah.
We can match what the Whalers did, an NHL team on their last season.
And you can also revert back to when they retired Alfie's number,
Right.
Kevin's number, and Ronnie's number,
Sure.
that 13,000 people came out to that, filled up that building because those guys were back.
Right.
And that Whaler name was back. And that's the most important thing. And as we've said before, the disgruntled Whalers fans have to come out
Sure.
and stop the nonsense and support
Sure.
Hartford hockey for the end result.
Sure, you can write in blogs all the time, but you really have to be out there and either voice it that way or go to the games and just have a good time. A real hockey fan likes all hockey. Except,
absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And there were some times last year in the Connecticut Whale where the attendance at the Connecticut Whale outdid Phoenix. It outdid Atlanta. I mean, so that's pretty good. I mean, this Hartford market that has its team that allegedly the city doesn't like because they're attached to the Rangers, but they're outdrawing some NHL teams that are not doing well, and it's all pointing back to Bettman's move to the south.
Yes.
And now it's a full-faced retreat.
Right, exactly.
So,
well, you know, it's
yeah.
interesting. There was a comment made that when Phoenix last year or the year before was putting out their numbers, they were fabricating all their numbers.
Right.
And it actually came out in the press that,
Right.
that they were fabricating numbers to make it look good so there was potential buyers out there.
Right.
And it's such a shame that you would have to do something like that.
Right.
Or have someone buy up all your tickets.
Sure.
And, you know, for now you know what happens. After this year, we're done with Phoenix. Phoenix will not exist.
No, Phoenix is definitely going somewhere next year.
And if they play their cards right, it could be Hartford, and we could get Phoenix. But Panthers are also
on the market.
Yeah,
They're on the
they're-
bubble.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're on the bubble. Sure.
But at Winnipeg, they got, what was it, 12,000? 13,000 season ticket holders. And
17 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So talking about season
yeah.
ticket holders, the Whale has been pushing for a 3,000 mark.
Right.
And as of today, it is 836 season tickets.
Right.
Which is nothing.
No.
At all.
Now,
Well, what's important is September 6th, the Whale has invited the Hartford Whalers Booster Club in to be trained in contacting season ticket holders from the Hartford Whaler days.
Wow.
We'll be trained on how to call these people, have the leads, and start to help with and do our part and get.
Do you
to
even
skate
think that's
to
maybe even a feasible number for them to get with 6 weeks to go?
To get to 3,000?
Yeah.
I would probably say no. I mean, in all honesty, I would say no. But I mean, if we want to build it from its start, Howard said in the Hartford Current chat in February that he was left about 400 season tickets. So that was September of last year. So, you know, he's doubled his number. He's at 836 now. There's still 6 weeks left. They might have some rabbits they're pulling out of the hat. Will they get to 3,000? No, probably not. But could they get to 1,500?
Sure,
Why
they could.
not?
And they can't.
Absolutely.
Their corporate support is kind of there.
Well, it's getting there.
Aetna's got, and what was it?
500,000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. They just donated towards it. So you mean
Yeah.
they're getting, people are realizing you need to join on because it's going to take off.
120 of those 836 is Aetna.
Yeah.
So
the more-
Aetna's bought into it.
Yeah.
Yep. Aetna wants to be a major player, and as they've said in the past, it has to be corporate support.
Right.
We know for a fact Mr. Baldwin's gone out there and he's tapped that corporate resource for the new arena.
But has
for
he
the-
tapped it
for-
hard enough? Has he gotten
we're
it
almost
to spill?
We're almost there, ready for the next step. They've talked about the Hartford and the state getting in. Well, another end of our show, and we thank you for joining us on Whaler Talk.
We'll check you next time.